Hi, sorry about that.
Oh, all good. I was just for a sec I was like, dang, I'm gonna be waiting for 30 minutes.
No, no, and I hope nobody else was feeling that way. No, since I'm using Anatol's account, I had was like what in the waiting room on my own account, and then I realized, oh no, I need to log out and find his old credentials. And frankly, I'm on a bit of a dinosaur of a device at home, so my little 2015 MacBook is showing its age.
No, glad you're here. I'm just concerned somewhat at the some things saying 6:30, some things saying 6. Like the email reminder, I I could I could go on, but I'll just leave it there. The calendar says the event is at 6, but the description says 6:30. And so the
Oh,
email reminder I got says 6:30.
cool,
Yeah, so
cool, cool. And my email said six, right?
100%,
Okay,
100%. Your
great.
email said 6. Um, the calendar event was at 6,
The calendar event was at six.
but the description said 6:30, and when you joined Zoom before the meeting, it said scheduled 6:30. So it
Scheduled
was
6:30. Okay,
um,
so
but I had on my own record keeping what you said in the email, so I got the 6, but
and you
hopefully
know what? In the Zoom, like in his Zoom account, it says 6:30, so I just changed it to
Oh,
6.
good.
Not like
Hopefully
that's doing anything for
retro
people.
retroactively maybe the email will update, but um
Um, well, um, while it's just, and Anatole even texted me and he said, "Oh, I'll be running a few minutes. Like I might be, like 30 minutes late."
Well, I see a ton of people are in the document.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. That too. I was really looking forward to folks.
I think
Um,
people are gonna trickle in, but I hope that no one is confused by the 6:30 thing.
I
I
I hope
was.
so as well. I know Roz can't make it. Um, so I won't sweat that. I know Anatole is running late. Um, while we are here, I guess I will go ahead and share my screen. Um I have it really kind of broken out between. I did leave some items because before I like made any changes, I like made wanted to make note of them, and it literally just in my agenda is like note this, note that, note this. The few items to discuss um, are more than a few. Hopefully, they're not too lengthy. Um, but let me go ahead and um, share my screen. And there's actually, and I gave everyone access to edit again about 5 minutes before this got started. So if anybody wants to kind of jump in, um, but oh, Eric, in particular, so um, I did I did follow kind of your guidance here towards the end when you talked about the two types of language or rewording like points 1 and 2 as far as the committees go.
mhm.
And I literally just took it word for word. So before I kind of mark this as resolved, I did want to gut check with you, if not others, but primarily you. Um, as far as if this kind of satisfies what we were looking to communicate.
There was just something that I had suggested including perhaps at the end of number one, maybe after the list of committees.
Hmm.
Um,
What was it? Because I'm pretty sure um, I took. Let me. Well, it was in this comment. It's a lengthy comment, so we might edit number one to read like I literally took this language.
oh, so where's part two then? Am I just missing it?
Individual standing committees. You mean
Oh,
this?
I see it. I see it. I
Yes.
see it. Okay.
Okay. So does that, like I said, kind of satisfy?
Yeah,
Um,
so we could just make that a period instead of a colon there.
oh my goodness. Oh, I'm falling apart here. Okay.
Yep.
Lovely. That's a bit. Yeah, one of those big ones. I've got. Is there anybody in the waiting room? I can't really tell just by. Oh, no. Okay.
I made
Great.
some formatting comments at the top if you want to resolve those.
What are
I
we?
don't think they require extensive conversation.
What are we adding? Oh, great.
Just like making sure that the part is bolded, not the article one.
Yep.
It's very
Yep.
unimportant, but just
No, no,
standard.
this is so
And then,
what's almost, it's not quite as satisfying as resolving a heavily commented item like we just did,
mm,
but it does help for snacking now and then.
and then we go from article two to article four. So we actually need to minus increment by one every article
Okay,
because we deleted article three.
that seems just fine.
Yeah, but it seems
Um,
annoying.
no need to. I will just make a point of this
Yeah.
right now. Um, and hmm, there was items for Randy and Anatole primarily, and then also some of the larger items, officers as chairs, December meeting, treasurer language, and that minority report. We really
Yeah.
can't do anything without the larger group.
Yeah, there's one thread that's just between you and I, which maybe if there's nothing else to discuss, we
If you
can do.
can find that guy. And then let's just see. I think we can kind of talk about your inputs. Not really for the voting. The voting, I think a lot of people, the consensus I heard was like voting seems pretty fine. So I figured not to belabor that point. But as far as the district manager goes, I think kind of simplicity is kind of best um, on that front. Um,
Um, so one, I think it should be simple one. If you control F or expel a member. So,
okay,
uh, I'm not actually sure if I'm seeing all of your screen, but basically, so to remove an officer, we can keep. I've suggested striking out, but I think we can keep. I don't think it contradicts the charter. But
sure.
expelling a member requires a simple, like, is in the city charter as requiring a simple majority. So we definitely can't require it to be two-thirds. It also contradicts the rest of our bylaws, which says simple majority. So that one, I think there's a broader conversation about whether to include that sentence, but we definitely can't say the expel a member part. Cool. Um, and then there was some stuff around open meeting law. The gist is like the existing language says like we will post stuff not any later than the law requires. And I'm suggested replacing it with the like actual number, which is
That's
72
what I had
hours.
in mind. Is that the actual number?
Yeah, I posted a link. I did it like 5 minutes ago, but
Oh, great. Okay, I feel less bad. If that's the actual Um, time not less than prior to 72. Okay.
Yeah, I just think otherwise it's like for a person encountering this document, it's super confusing. Like, yeah, if you can,
Okay. Not less than 72 hours prior to the meeting. Great. I'm sold. Half, truly, like half of the meeting was designed to be like clean up. You know, who's convinced? Who's on board, and then the rest to be, um, you know, going into the weeds of it all.
yeah. And then there's some stuff that's maybe less controversial. I don't know exactly, but it's like I'm not sure. I think it was Roz who just added a ton of detail about like the procedure for minutes.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
draft will include it's stricken through. I don't know if I suggested the strike through or you did. It
I think
might be me. I'm
I
pretty
think you did the strike through, and I said, yeah, I'm not. I don't
because
think
like
this is really needed.
yeah, it's like
Um,
the step-by-step process of, and I just wonder like if it we don't want the chair to approve and post pending board approval, like we have to change the bylaws. Like it's just very prescriptive for the
no,
tactic.
yeah, and I see, I see where that perspective and that energy is coming from. But like when it is that prescriptive, it can be almost limiting,
Yeah, yeah.
and like you're setting up traps.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like the Constitution of sorts. It's like it'd be weird if it specified what hat you have to wear on each day
Yeah.
or something.
Meanwhile, there's a lot of like power and liberatingness with that ambiguity. Um, what is it? Oh, what is publicly? Okay, Leticia. I mean, since I'm right here, I think publicly it kind of is an example of that point. Like, is it available to the public? Yes.
Yeah, do we?
I mean, I was referring to like the medium, like how do we define publicly? Like, is it online? Is it like a flyer on in front of the building where, CB2 has their office? Because I think being able to say, like, at least it's here, it's in a sense, there's one place that it has to be at, and then, you know, you did your job, right? You posted it that we're having the meeting.
Yeah, the next line, I think because it's in state law actually, specifies the website as like a place where the agenda must be posted. Um, but I wonder, I mean, I frankly think posted publicly kind of necessarily means on the website, but we could say including on the board's website.
So you think that'll do it?
Sure.
Maury, hello.
Guten Morgen.
I mean, what did I say? Good morning. I don't know why. I'm
Uh,
sorry.
I thought you said Maury.
Oh, I said okay.
You said Maury, but I said Guten Morgen.
Oh God, good, good. Okay, all right. So you're just low key gaslighting me.
I'm in Berlin.
Oh, no way.
Oh,
No, no, I'm kidding.
really?
I'm kidding. I'm
Oh,
kidding.
Oh, I was like, you were in Woodside yesterday.
I believe. I mean, I believe it.
It was a red eye.
Fair. Maury, are you joining us 15 minutes late because you thought the meeting might be at 6:30?
No, I was waiting here for like 5 or 10 minutes to get let in.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
But I was a little late. But then there was a thing that said it was at 6:30 also. But I didn't see that until afterwards. I was like, why aren't I being let in? Did I miss it?
Oh,
Is it a double
I'm
day?
I'm sorry.
No, no, it's okay.
Well, that's on me.
No, no.
Um, so um, so we're cleaning up a number of items. Um, is this the section that you're talking about? The
yeah, we're
meeting
just like,
minutes, right?
yeah, where there's a lot of detail that Roz added that I think probably shouldn't be in this document. I mean, it's not terrible to have a very defined process, but it's odd to make it something that the whole board would have to vote on as part of the bylaws.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Including that it should be posted on the website with the text pending board approval. Out like it's just extremely detailed.
Anyone else thoughts? Do we like it? I know me and Michael aren't in love with it, but that doesn't mean we're right.
I agree with you guys. I think less is more in a lot of situations, and I think that bylaws are, the core, but you can always have certain specific policies at the, discretion of the executive committee or the chair.
Um,
Fair.
I
Eric?
was
Oh,
think
let's see.
oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I was thinking, maybe we want to include an appendix with like all of this stuff. So like the voting stuff, maybe like a template of what minutes could look like. Um, just like as see example in the appendix. So that, you know, you could remove all of these
I
things.
I see what you're meaning, but that's almost like a hand guide,
Mm-hmm.
which would be different from the bylaws. So like I'm not saying that's uh, wrong. I'm just not sure the bylaws should be the place for that, which is like my initial thoughts as far as like the voting rules and guidance in the first place.
We could also summarize them in a memo or something to the chair with a recommendation that, this sort of information be shared with current and new board members, just as an
Mm.
outcome of our work and our deliberation.
Like a standard, I mean, almost kind of like the Welcome to Community Board 101 training
Yeah.
that we have every year.
Did we ever, did the board ever create I know there was discussion about creating a manual, and I know when I was chair, I saw there were some other boards that had like manuals that they would distribute that kind of put, background information, historical information, but also could have some of these specific items in, or like board policies that are, more specific and not necessarily bylaws.
Mm.
I have not seen or heard anything since you were chair and I was onboarded.
Oh, so yeah, yeah, maybe that's what it where
But
it makes sense to have it.
again, like I think somewhere here in this document, we should be able to either um guide people to something like that, even if it doesn't exist in this actual document, but if it's something that it's, like somebody knows it exists so that somebody's also maintaining it, whether that's the DM or that's like the whole board or the executive committee. But I just think because I asked around to different members and there's no paper trail of anything regarding board stuff. Like if I wanted to access, how does I don't know, like procedures and processes and things like that, right? Like, when you're like in a job, those
Sure.
things don't exist. And I think we need to um it needs to go in somewhere. It needs to say refer, or you can reference this document or this place or it's housed here. Like because this is like the board's guiding, you know, constitution or whatever you want to call it, right? And um it should be able to guide people who join the board to wherever other resources that they may need to be able to be an effective board member.
At risk of having a philosophical conversation or argument, like, yeah, there should be a hand guide, there should be a memo, there should be a process that's followed up and reinforced for onboarding and just as a reference guide. But the bylaws, bylaws are pretty binding, and you probably can't find that kind of paper trail because by and large, boards operate pretty loosely. Like follow Robert's rules as a general understanding to keep the flow and conversation and deliberation going. But there's a lot of flexibility baked in there that when you put things on black and white, you kind of lose that.
Yeah,
Anyone
I hear
anyone
what
else feel similarly or
and I definitely don't think that that like when we look at what's written after the minutes, I definitely don't think this language should be in the bylaws. But I think there is a broader point about just like writing stuff down and having processes and following them that is like
yeah.
a good idea. But yeah, I just like especially like this particular language is very prescriptive and like quite burdensome. It's like
Mm-hmm.
we need and also kind of vague in a way. Like there's going to be a draft minute with timestamps linking to the posted recording of the meeting. I don't quite know what that means, but does that mean like timestamping when each person spoke? Like it's very oddly prescriptive for sharing of minutes. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we're on the same page. Eric, any thoughts?
I agree.
Okay. I mean, I just don't want to. Before I stop chopping off pieces of text, I'm not. Especially when Roz is not going to be here to kind of defend this. I want to make sure there is a sizable enough consensus, which we have not yet reached, even with this room. Hi, Debbie. So I am hoping more folks do get on at 6:30. Um, otherwise we will. I don't know. Actually, this is not even quorum. So this is like less than half the group. Um,
Well, Sheila agreed in the comments, so we can plus one.
okay, okay, okay. You really, Michael, I can get myself in trouble fine on my own. No need to help me out.
Yeah. Well, just trying to think about because I think you're right that there are at least two substantive topics that we probably need like the board to vote on or something. One is how we handle roll call votes for officers, where we had this disagreement about like what's currently in the bylaws around posting it in the meeting minutes versus something like not doing that, but allowing people to file a public records request. Well, I mean, we can't prevent them from doing that. So there was that
Sure.
debate. And then there's this the minority report debate, and I wonder if at this point it's like that's more of a tee up for the full board. So, but I'm hoping we can at least knock out some of these.
If Anatole, here's the thing, yeah, if Anatole wanted to do it for the full board, like that could be almost like a pretty good addendum or like a separate item.
Yeah.
Um, oh, speak of the man now. Maybe. Um, hey, big cat. So we've had some confusion about whether if the meeting was at 6 or 6:30. However, that really was your cue. So let's go to your final note on the minority report.
Okay.
Because
Great movie.
because breaking news to Maury, I mean, and everybody else, I really like that CB10 language.
I liked it too. Yeah, it leaves room for um, like I think that's the best balance of like not taking over, of not like uh diluting or whatever, right? Like I think it's the best balance of for the most part having a consensus voice and also leaving room for additional voices and reasoning and all that stuff.
I
Which
guess
part did you like?
Manhattan CB10.
Yeah, which part?
Uh,
Like I like the part that it says it must state the minority the part that the must state the board's vote on the issue and the number of members represented by the minority report. So it's like if it was like 48 to 5, and then you say 48 people voted in favor and we're the five that are dissenting. I think that's good. And I think it was, I don't remember if it was CB10s or one of the other ones that actually will sometimes share that if they're sending it to another agency, or if it's like, I would imagine that this is going to be rarely ever used, but maybe on a highly controversial one, like one LIC, or like, some other issue,
Sunnyside Yard if it comes back.
Sunnyside Yard, which will probably come back. It gives people the opportunity to, and, it's like the Supreme Court having a dissenting opinion and sharing it.
Yeah, and I did like if we keep like a certain minimum threshold, like minimum of 5 members, and it should be submitted like within 7 days of the board's decision,
Yeah.
like time bound and like a fairly decent, not minuscule threshold.
Also depends on the timeline, right? So like for again, one LIC that was a ULURP. So provided that we have the time, right? Like well, one LIC is a bad example, but I think we had a couple of recent ones, or one recent one where it really was due the next day or the next week, right after our land use meeting. I forget which um situation that was, but yeah, like we'll work around the timeline, but yeah, as long as uh, basically as long as we can accommodate everything and make sure that so like for example in that situation, if the ULURP is due, you know I don't think it was a ULURP, it was some other timeline driven thing, but it was literally like the Friday after our Thursday meeting. In situations like that, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Do we have the exact language we're voting on here? Because I'm still even, I mean, I think adding the threshold of 5 makes sense and having a timeline makes sense. But if we're going to be sending multiple letters to government officials from community board to letterhead with different positions, that's something I like still do not agree with. Like, I think recording it in the minutes, I think is fine. But sending two contradictory positions to public officials from our office, I think, is not helpful for the board's persuasive authority.
Yeah, that's the part where I say, like, of diluting the message, right? Like, for example, CB2 overall says, we support one LSE with yes with conditions. But then do we also send another letter that says the minority of CB2 opposes? Because because in that case, that does weaken the message, right? Like,
I'm
uh,
also, how specific are we going to get here? It's like like a majority of CB2 wants to increase the number of family-sized units. A minority of CB2 wants to have like studios. It's like it just becomes very like if you're an elected official and you get this letter, like I don't think you get a sense that there is a clear point of view from the community board. And like we're competing with many other stakeholders for attention from elected officials.
I think some of these hypotheticals wouldn't apply to when a minority report might be, proposed, right?
My
I had
apologies.
quoted,
I mean,
I had quoted
sorry.
something. Oh, hi Sheila. I had quoted something that a parliamentarian had written earlier in the thread about, when the board decides to take that sort of action, it above all else, it needs to be, supportive of the board's position. It needs to be, for some constructive reason. It's not just to give dissenters, a place to complain that that they disagree with the decision, right? It needs to serve some purpose, which is why I thought one LIC was a good example, right? There were, some concerns amongst folks on the land use committee about, scale and height and things like that. So, I mean, that's a place where some of those perspectives could be recorded. But I don't think it would be a place where there would be kind of like a place to take the battle or fight from a committee or the board meeting into the public sphere. Do you see what I'm saying? I just
Yeah.
That's exactly, I think, where my concern comes in. I think it's totally good if the committee includes a minority report to the board. Where I don't think it's good is where the board includes a minority report alongside its recommendation in a letter to government officials, where we say, this is what community board voted on, and then it's like, this is a different position that a minority of the community board holds. Like that is by definition getting it in the public realm. I think if what you're saying is committees should share with the full board the full context for their debate and discussion, I think that's great. But I think the proposal is exactly to insert a dissenting opinion into the public record.
Maury?
Yeah, I disagree with you respectfully, Michael. I do think that, especially, the committees are very unique, right? It's when people put their sleeves up and do the nitty-gritty work, and then things come to the full board, and there's a vote and there's context about a discussion, and I think to look at CB9's minority report, they actually specify that you have to do it within a certain amount of days. But they also mention that it can be sent along to agencies, and I think it doesn't have to be. Yeah, again, I don't think it'll be happening a lot. But imagine if it was flipped around the other way, and imagine, some of us want a lot of affordable housing, and the board for some reason voted against some big important project, and there needs to be context, and there needs to be shown that there was a dissenting opinion, so that may, that makes it clear that this wasn't, unless it was unanimous. you know Sometimes, in rare occasions, there may be a need to give context and give an opportunity for dissenting view. I really don't think it'll happen a lot, but I think there is a precedent for it throughout the city. And I think it makes sense for us to share that. I don't think it'll take away, if there's an extra paragraph or a short, maybe we even say the dissenting opinion, any dissenting opinion that goes along with city document can't be longer than a page, right? And it's just attached with the other. Okay, I'll shut up.
Beulah?
Hey, first of all, I do apologize, everybody. I'm visiting my dad in Florida, so got caught in and I had to move it because of the storm, so all that fun stuff. So I missed a lot of this. But I spoke with a number of people at the engagement thing I said, and everybody was really interested in this discussion, everyone I spoke to. So I don't know, I don't feel like we have to make the hard and fast decision tonight. I think it is something we should take to as something that is happening out there and something new. And there's a reason it's coming up. And I think back to when I was on the board and people would not vote, like Queens Boulevard bike lane. I had to fight really hard to get that passed. But so if there were dissenting opinion that was available then, when some things were turned down, there would have been an opportunity for that to already have existed with good reasons. So I just think that it's an opportunity for to show the breadth of it, and I don't think it's going to weaken the. If anything, I think it strengthens the board. So I really advocate for us bringing this one or two, like take one of these and just say this is, and let's have the discussion with the full board. This may be the one thing that we talk about a lot with them because people seem to feel very strongly about not having it. But I really feel strongly about bringing it to the full board.
Anatole?
Hey, yeah, three things. One, to Letitia's comment, like, no, your no vote is your opposition, right? So there you go. Like, if you vote no, then you've uh, voiced your opposition. Then the second thing was that can't it, like if the like I'm thinking about the intended audience, right? Like if we're sending it out to get a result to an elected official, like that's where I want to, do we want them to stay focused on getting what the majority of the board wants at that point done? or do we, like, because if we want the community to see our reasoning and all that, yeah, let's put it in the minutes. Let's put it in as part of the record. But procedurally, like when we send something to an elected official, like I want them focused on the what the majority of the board set to do, whether either fight for it um, or kill it, right? That kind of thing. So so that's what I'm urging. Like from a procedural perspective, let's keep the focus there. Um, and yeah, so can't we just like wouldn't just including it in the minutes uh,
I
get the
disagree,
job done?
because you know that the idea, like again, I'm looking back in time, and right now the majority is voting a certain way that's pretty progressive. That's not always been the case, and if you look around the city, that is not always the case. And so, if we have the ability to have a dissenting voice, that actually gives elected something to look to, that there are other opinions that might be valuable in whatever the advocacy is, whether it is on housing, whether it is on bike lanes, whether it is on healthcare. Like I just think that it's not weakening us to show that we're supporting different opinions, and including in our final statement. Like the board overwhelmingly voted to support this, with these conditions. There were 5 dissenters. Here are 2 points that the dissenters brought up and reasons they did not vote. Like and that may, and to, what Maury said is, and I put this in my comments, hopefully this isn't used, but it should be there if people feel strongly enough to, like a group of people, we can say a certain number, like I said, something like 5 or whatever, have this same opinion.
Yeah, I think just to not, I mean, clearly we have disagreeing opinions here. But I think as far as resolving this, it would be really helpful to get finalized language. Like I think we're all
That's what I'm trying to work on right now based off of.
yeah, proposing things that are different from what's written here, like having a minimum quantum of vote. Do people have to disagree with the resolution to write a dissent? Like I would write a concurring opinion on almost all our resolutions if I had the option to, that I would love to send to elected officials in our reports. Um, I mean, I don't think it's good for the board to have a lot of different opinions, but if I have the ability to send different opinions to the board and or to elected officials through the board, I absolutely will. Um, so I think we just need to be really clear about the procedure here so that there's a vote that reflects, I think, the best possible version of this debate. So things
And
like number of
I completely agree with what you're saying, Michael, except that I also think, in kind of like some things that we put in that were new and different in the bylaws from last and 4 years ago, is there some things that get tested, and you don't know until you do it, but that's not a reason not to do it. I'm really curious to check out what's going on with CB9 and Manhattan CB4, CB, like, and the different boards that are doing it, and see what has happened. But I
yeah,
don't think the
I would
reason
love,
not
I
to
mean, that
do
would
it.
be really helpful for me would be to see these things in action. I tried reading a little bit about these boards and trying to find examples of these dissents, and I really couldn't. I mean, I found information about the boards and things happening with them, but not about this specific topic. It would be really helpful. I mean, I also do think though we need to tighten the language around like what we're going to vote on and then how this intersects with speaking on behalf of the board. Like, can you speak on behalf of the
As it says in the bylaws, the only person who can speak on behalf of the board is the chair. So that's in the bylaws. So, I mean, none of the rest of us can, unless Anatole specifically tells us we can.
but can a
Uh,
person come before the board and say, I represent a minority of 16 members of the board who vehemently disagree and think there should not be bike lanes or what have you? Like, do we want people going to elected officials and speak
I,
as
I feel like you're going to the extreme, and before we've even tested this. Sorry, Maury, you go ahead. I apologize. I'm
Yeah,
jumping.
no, I just want to say this is not, I don't think any of these other boards are doing it as a way for someone to go and speak on behalf of the board. It is all it is the minority or dissenting opinions opportunity to write a report that they submit and say, this was the dissenting opinion. It's not saying this is the board's opinion. It's not speaking on behalf of the board. There's no one person, I don't think it should be, that says, hi, we want to talk about. No, it's a written report that is an account of the story and the dissenting opinion. And I think what's important here, and I just dropped it in the chat as we all have discussed this over the years, and it went, ad nauseum. We discussed it during the when we revamped the way we did the minutes. There was a whole discussion about we weren't going to do play-by-play minutes anymore, because the whole point of the minutes are a record. They are not an opinion, and that's the difference with the report. The report tells the context, it tells the opinion, and so there's a lot more that can be understood. And it also that creates a public record of that context that can be posted on the website, but also shared with elected officials or whatever. And the other thing is, a lot of times minutes, take a little time and they're lengthy, and a lot of people don't read them unless they need something specifically. But if there's a dissenting opinion, and again, it's not someone speaking on behalf of the board, it's a group of people writing as representatives of their opinion,
But
not the board's opinion.
it's still a little unclear to me what we mean. Like, if this is something that gets written and included in the minutes, I think that's much less objectionable than this is something that gets sent to elected officials on like community board letterhead. And it's still not clear to me what's being
Well, Well, one thing I would say to that, Mike, was, it's just like the dissenting opinion of a court. Now, to someone just mentioned before, well, your no vote is your no. Well, you could say that someone votes for equal marriage and someone votes against equal marriage, and at the end you have this result. But like, there's no context. If you want dissenting opinion, because it's then shared and part of the public record, it's
I
not
just
just part of the minutes.
frustrated by the analogy. Like, judicial review is quite different from community boards' letters to public officials.
Well,
I think we understand, Michael, that you're not convinced, you're apprehensive, and not sure of the value and worth of pursuing this. So
Yeah, I would just
that's
really though
fair.
before we
No,
go,
no, I think that's very. I think that's been abundantly
I
clear.
know, I just want to make the point that I would be really nice to have crisp language about what is being proposed, right? Like, because it's really not clear to me if this is a standalone letter that gets sent, if this is, a few sentences included in the main letter that the board sends. Like, it's really unclear to me like what is being proposed, and I would love to get that clarity before we take a vote on it.
Why
and
would
I
that
just,
clarity be critical?
I'll be
Sorry,
quiet.
Sheila.
Because I don't want there to be a case where something gets adopted and then I propose to do one of these reports and I'm told, no, actually, it's not what you thought it was. It's something else. I think what the vaguer this is, the more this is going to create a lot of discretion and a lot of complexity down the road. Like, is this three sentences in the board's report to public officials? Is it a separate document that gets sent? Does it get sent to public officials, or is it just something that gets published as part of our minutes? Like, there's really a lot of ambiguity, and I mean, as you can tell, I'm a pretty opinionated person, and if I had the option to write to elected officials and it gets sent to the board, gets sent through the board, I would exercise that right quite liberally. So although I don't think it's a good idea, if I had the ability to do it, I absolutely would. So I just want to be clear about what it is that we're gonna vote on.
Well, I think there was
Sheila,
some lang. Oh, I'm sorry. May I jump in?
please, please.
I know you're trying to move it, and we should just move it. You know what? You go ahead, because
No, no, no. I was saying no. I was saying I was sending it your way.
okay.
Speak your part, please.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's the same thing. Like, how long was 19 pages long was our letter for on one LIC? It's like, I don't know that we're going to know if it's one paragraph or it's 2 pages, but we can say things like it's not about a single person, like a minority report, and that's why I was saying we could say it needs to be like 5 people, and and I do think it should be part of the official response, because that's what a minority report is. You have, if 45 people vote yes on something and 5 people vote no, they have an opportunity to provide, the context for their no vote. I think trying to, what was it, perfection is the devil of like, you don't get things done. Like, we're not going to get perfect in advance. And so at some point we also have to trust that the chair isn't going to turn around and tell people you can only get 2 sentences, or you can only do if it's 20 pages. Like, there has to be a certain amount of trust in the person we vote to be chair.
So does the chair decide these details?
I think that kind of thing will come up if and when there is a dissent. I think that to try to it's the same thing with any other report we do or any other letter. Right now, we don't say we can only send 1 page. We only can only send 2 paragraphs. This is something that I'm very curious to see how it works out. I don't think it's going to happen very often, to tell you the truth. But to me, it's kind of like with the ranked choice voting. I was excited that this comes up, and to me, community board that's the grassroots beginning of government, and it's where people can engage and where people learn. So to have more of this kind of thing that exists at a place where people can come in and connect, to me, is part of cultivating, like educating people on how to be involved. Like I think, so that's, I just don't think we're going to have the perfect thing. And if you do, that would actually, to me, be almost like a confrontation to say, we're going to have this, but you can only like do 2 lines, or you can only complain about one thing. I think there has to be some air in it so for us to see what happens with it.
So, uh, thank you, Sheila. So I've tried to put some of this language in that we talked about, some minimum thresholds, so it's not, a twosome or a threesome. So it's
It
a
better be
semi.
perfect.
Yeah, well, I will strive to do that. But 5 folks. If we have a resolution within 7, like at that meeting, be like, hey, we're gonna put something together. If you and 4 other people lock eyes in the room and submit something within a week, and it'll be like here, just an addendum at the very end of the majority resolution. So where the resolution goes, it goes. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call from Stephen Cooper, so let me go on mute and take this. Sheila, do you want to drive? I know I'm sharing my screen, but hey, let me
Well,
take.
I don't know what was discussed before I came on. Go take your call. We're grown-ups. How is everybody? What did I miss? Anything else juicy, or was this the only juicy
Oh,
part?
we were just cleaning up the dock before we were
Did we
waiting for
start at 6 or 6:30?
started at there was
At
some
6, I apologize, Nelly. I'm at my dad's in Florida, and just
You've escaped this frigid weather and
no, I had to shorten my trip because originally I was coming later and staying till Sunday, but because of the storm, and I have to be back for something on Monday, I'm like here for 2 days now. So that's where things got all
uh,
messed up. I wish, but I have to
I think the
shovel.
calendar also said 6:30. I think that might have been some of the confusion.
Woo, so I wasn't late.
No,
Yeah, no,
not
it
but the
is
calendar.
85 degrees and we did go out swimming
Wow.
today. Or now it's 81 now. The pool was 90.
So wait, you're there for 3 days?
I arrived this morning. I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but everything got, mixed up. And then my flight is back Saturday night.
Ooh, I hope it has
Yeah.
fun. I hope you'll
Yeah,
be
my
able.
dad can hear you, by the way.
I hope that's not going to be a problem with the storm.
I hope not. I originally was flying back on Sunday, but I moved
Oh
my
yeah.
flight up. Um, yeah. Unless somebody there wants to shovel for me, like. Is everybody else in New York?
yep.
yes.
Nobody's up in Killington?
Can can so sorry to linger on the Minority Report thing, but there's some language in the doc and I'm not sure if can I share my screen? Oh, maybe I can. So what do you think this should, it says no member may identify himself or herself as such.
I don't know what that means. I
Yeah.
mean, to me, the important thing is that in keeping it as simple as possible, the paragraph, I think, and he hasn't finalized the language here, like must be turned around within 7 days, like if five or more members of the board.
Oh, I think it says I think maybe it means in absence of a minority report, nobody can identify them as the minority.
Oh, I like that actually.
It's like you have to have five people and you have to be a group, I guess. I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
so that's because they didn't have a minimum of five, I bet.
it's
Maybe.
a little confusing though because the next statement is that the minority report can only be appended to the majority resolution.
That means it's an appendix to the majority resolution.
So that means just, but that would mean if you were to write to a public official, you can't submit the minority report.
You wouldn't. The community board is sending out the official majority report and the
Right.
minority report goes with it.
What does D bind a
I
person?
think that is copy and paste from somebody that didn't have a minimum number of people. So the idea was they were saying one person can't just jump up and say, I am the minority report.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's copy pasted, but I don't know. I think maybe we just
Oh,
don't.
it's definitely copy pasted. Sorry, I can
Yeah.
confirm. Sorry,
Yeah, I think it just
sorry.
means, yeah, no one member can identify themselves as the
Right, but we were adding the minimum, so that is an
So yeah,
unnecessary
that
statement.
might not be needed. Yep,
Yeah.
fair.
Do the five people need to be announced at the meeting? Like how do B and C interact?
so does that mean it has to be five? There have to be five no's in order to be
Well, not just no's, five people want to be participate in the minority report.
That's
I
confusing.
mean,
What if you want to write it, you vote with the board's resolution, but you want to submit a minority report?
the minority report is only for, I think, is only really for dissenting opinions.
Yeah.
In my mind, like we can feel different because we
we should
had
put that in there
19,
too.
yeah, we had 19 pages of qualifications for our yes vote for one LSE. So that already exists. Like if you're going to vote yes, but then have issues, that opportunity already exists.
Yeah, but there are conditions that, like, I voted for the resolution, but there were a lot of conditions I disagreed with. But as part of the sort of consent building process, I sort of aligned on a resolution that worked for the board. So I
Yeah.
do think concurring opinions should be allowed to submit minority reports.
Nelly?
The judicial.
So right now, when we vote in favor of a resolution, we submit a resolution on behalf of the board. Does this mean, and I get your sort of argument, Sheila, for leaving, test and learn and sort of see how it goes. Don't make perfect enemy of the good. But do we list the names of the five dissenting members, or would this be under the guise of just a minority report, not identifying people?
It's a great question. I don't know. You know, I mean, I don't know how it's been done. That maybe it's a decision we make. Although if it's a like a land use thing, votes are public. And even actually on all things we raise our hand, so I think
Right, but like right, when we submit a
Different boards
CBC
do it different ways,
resolution,
Nelly. So
I'm
some
sorry.
boards they require the signatures and names on the report, and some will just I think it was CB9 um has the number of members represented by the minority report. Personally, I think they should sign it. But I guess I could be persuaded the other way as
Yeah,
well.
that creates a weird asymmetry because it's like 40
Yeah.
people who vote for it don't get named, but the five people who vote against it get named.
so
That's
maybe
a
we
good
leave
point.
that as we leave it as an option.
We just have to say how many people voted in the
Mhm.
dissenting view.
Bingo.
And then anyone who wants to be part of the writing it can write it, but it just lists five dissented, 45 were in the affirmative.
Can we say differing in whole or in part? I mean, this I think gets to the fundamental point about can you do a concurring minority report? where you voted for the board's resolution, but you submitted a minority report? Or do you have to vote no on the board's resolution?
That's a good question.
Dana?
I'd be open to hearing arguments.
Mr. Cooper.
Yeah, I guess it really comes down. Sorry for joining late, everybody. I had troubles. Um, I guess what it comes down to is for what purpose are we submitting a minority report? Technically, on most of the things we do that are important, okay, we submit our vote and whatever report goes within 2 or 3 days of the meeting to the appropriate city agency. Usually, it's the city planning, but it could be other agencies. They then take it to the next step along the way, whether it's borough president or council. And meanwhile, within 30 days, somebody decides they want to do a minority report, which they would have to go through some process before it gets submitted. Who's going to read it? Why is it being sent? And why should we limit ourselves to one minority report? I think that we should be allowed to have 51 minority reports and just one majority report, and it will just make us look a little foolish. But why shouldn't I be allowed a minority report if Maury's allowed a minority report? We both disagreed, or we agreed in part and disagreed in part, but we have different reasons for disagreeing in part. Or do Maury and I have to fight it out, with swords to decide who gets to word this thing?
You
A
all have
couple
to
of
word it together.
A couple of things were already, because you missed it, is
I'm
one
sure.
is we said within 1 week, and those letters never go out within 2 to 3 days. You know that
Okay.
very well.
But I'm
And
looking at
so it
30.
would
I
go
wasn't here for that, Sheila.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
So that's why I'm telling you.
Yeah, I
The
appreciate it.
other thing is we're saying a minimum of 5 people. And so like and the other, and on top of that, you know, I doubt this is going to be used in the abusive way you're talking about, or that somebody mentioned like the electeds going to somebody behind their back. Electeds are already going to people behind everybody's back and asking them things.
Right.
This isn't going to like change that. So having the opportunity for a minority report for 5 or more people who dissent on an opinion is just an opportunity for especially big items for that to exist. We already have the opportunity when you vote yes with qualifications, and most people will like say, I do support this, but that's if all these things are in place. But there's some people who just like no, regardless of the qualifications, and this is why. Um, you, you know,
Okay.
you,
You've
you,
explained it.
So the I see some unicorn is, oh yeah, that's it. Sure, yeah. That seems like acceptable additional language. Things don't have to be limited to just one. But
do
yes,
we need
Steve,
to
that's why
say that?
I'm
I
sorry.
know because I don't want to create the ambiguity later, right? Like either I don't want to create this position where we do have a controversial vote 3 years from now, and we don't know what was intended when we adopted this resolution.
No,
Or
no, that's fine. This seems like innocuous enough clarifying language. Yes, Steve, that's why we included kind of 5 people minimum, 7-day deadline for a relatively quick time bound sense of urgency, and really just to get folks moving and to kind of force coordination so that they can speak in a coherent voice in a relatively quick fashion.
I'm satisfied with what you've done. You've thought out what I was talking about.
Bingo. And so, is there any language here, Seymour? Is there any language here that we really need to flesh out further, or can we move on from this big component?
There is one more ambiguous thing since that I think if it just needs to be implied that the minority report must, along with the official report, go through the office.
That was what I was going to just say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was why I raised my hand. I think we have to make it really clear the minority report is not sent independently by the
That's right.
minority or the dissenters. It's written, it's drafted, it's presented to the office, and then Debbie and the team.
Exactly.
Don't you have that in D already?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Well, it says it must be submitted to them, but it doesn't say that. Maybe
That's
you just
that's the
say,
only right. Like
maybe
it
just
can't.
say that it cannot be distributed independently.
Yeah, I think it's important to say it cannot be distributed independently.
Well, Eric, you saw a blog post?
That was just more detail about why an instrument like this would be used. And it would really, again, there would need to be some thought into, does this serve the best interests of the board and the community before moving forward with this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Should we
That's all.
include that in this? Or is it not necessary?
I think it sounds accusatory. Like my feeling, and hey, I may be proven wrong, is that people aren't going to just be running out of the gate to do this. It's going to take some work for people too. They have to get together with four other people, and somebody's got to write it. And like I'm having a little bit more faith that that people will consider it in the best interest of the board and the community.
Sheila, I think I see it a little differently. From my
Okay.
experience on the board in the past few years, is that I think, some people sort of use it as an opportunity to advance their own matters and issues that matter to them, and not necessarily representative of, other voices or other parts of the community. So I see this as one more way of giving people who exercise that right, not everybody does, to advance their own opinions, views on an issue, without sort of full consideration of like, what do my community members, what do my neighbors, what do people I don't talk to every day think about something? So you're absolutely right that this is like extra work. It's beyond just sort of like grabbing the mic and sort of like taking up airtime at a meeting on an issue that you care about. This is going to require extra work, but I do think that people who will do it will do it.
So, Nellie, if there are 5 people that are equally passionate and myopic, would they not be afforded some sort of platform?
I mean, this is a community board, right? Like, with all due respect, like, I think even if our general resolution were to have an impact, like, we don't want to like further slice and dice it and then present like a million different opinions. Like we're reducing our effectiveness, I think, in that way. Different than Supreme Court, where it matters. We want to sort of see all the justification. And furthermore, I think that the ambiguity by which we are saying, oh, a minority report and not defining it in some way, I think that's not going to help us. And I think it's actually going to take up a lot of discussion time at the board, because I think this will come up.
Okay. I hear that. I think those who are in favor of this idea have tried to set up some general guidelines, so that it isn't too willy-nilly, but it doesn't dilute the voice of the board. I think we can bring it up to the full board, and I think serious consideration, those of us who do support it, that this may be on the chopping block for the overall bylaws. So just to consider, because I know it's important that we move on from this. I know this is important, but we have to be sensitive of time as well.
Can you just think about it ahead of time? You're going to present this at the meeting. If you present this at the meeting and the people at the meeting are as differed as we are, we're not going to get anything done. So the question is, are there certain things in our bylaw recommendations or considerations that should be set aside and considered at some other meeting separately from changes that we all agree have to be made?
Maury had his hand up, so I just
yeah.
No, wait, Stephen, was that a question or was that a?
It's a question. I'm throwing it out because if this is going to take a lot of discussion, it may stall us from getting the other things through. If there are, and I think from the last meeting, it seemed that there was consensus on most of the changes. I'm only suggesting that you might want to get the changes through that we all seem to agree on first before you even turn to some of these controversial ones like this one, because there's a lot to talk about on this one.
And
Maury?
Maureen, you had your hand up before,
Yeah,
and then
I'm
Anatole.
just
I'm sorry.
I really appreciate what you say, Nelly, and I take it seriously, and I understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate it. Um, I feel like I have a lot of faith in my fellow board members, and one of the things is because I see that there's a precedent for it around the city, and haven't heard people complaining that it's become a big problem. But I do see where you're saying, there's a consensus, there's a this, we had a vote, why not? One of the things I love more than anything about being on the community board is, especially in our world climate and our country's climate right now, where people can't even have conversations. I love that I might be on completely opposite ends of a vote with some of my fellow board members, and then be on the same side on another vote. And I, just, I'm grateful for that, and I feel like it's such a collegial um, uh, uh, experience. And if we had more of this, more local stuff happening, maybe we wouldn't have the problems we have nationally. But and just to circle back, I do think there is a rationale and a reason for it. I don't think it'll get abused. I do think there's a precedent, or I know there's a precedent for it. And I think that this is actually only strengthens the board, because it shows we're not afraid of dissent and discussion. And I think, at the end of the day, minutes again tell report the meeting, the what happened at the meeting, and this kind of dissent or minority report gives us kind of the context and the story of the disagreement, which can be then beneficial to future boards that look back at it, and even the any public officials. All right, I
Anatole?
know we have to move on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, hey, from the procedural perspective, Steve reminded me of it. For City of Yes, if I remember correctly, the land use committee presented like just like 7 or 8 items for discussion and said that the rest we all agreed on. So here are the 7 things we want the full board's opinion on. So if we could structure it that way, yeah, like that might save a ton of time.
Nelly?
So thanks for your comments, Maury, and I agree with those sentiments, and I appreciate them. So one thought here, and I agree with you. This is not me being sort of doubting our members being sort of abusing this as a vehicle to sort of like express their commentary to elected officials. But do we want to add a couple of words? Maybe it's at the discretion of the chair, so that if it ends up being always the same, I don't know, person, group of people who are always sort of utilizing this as a vehicle, that we sort of get ahead of that and give the chairperson some discretion to not include it if we end up seeing a pattern, only in that case, of course.
I would totally disagree with that, only because I know what happened in this community years ago when there was only a few people that supported bike lanes, and the chair at the time was really against them, and they would have shut them down on everything. And the reason why things have moved so progressively in our neighborhood for several years is because those few people were able to get their voice heard. And I think this just gives an opportunity to make it less difficult as it was, and it maybe wouldn't have taken as many years as it had dissenting views been able to be allowed.
Okay. On that note, I'd say let's move on. We can bring this up. I'll think about how we want to kind of include this. But hopefully the rest is very easy. Let me take it from the top and I'll move pretty quickly. Pardon the jumping. But what is this? Did I just make a note? Oh, yes. Anatole, friendly reminder, we put it in here. We want to start keeping closer track and enforcing folks coming in. Yes, Steve.
Well, you had asked me to look through the certain sections. So if you want me to go through it quickly on the first part of it now, I will, because there are some changes that are worth at least a short discussion on.
Okay, can you please remind me what section.
Well, we'll start with Article 3, officers.
Mhm.
2A,
Officers 2A. Hang on. Officers.
you gotta go up.
Yep.
Okay. 2A, during the term of membership, at least 2/3 of all board meetings and at least 2/3 of the meetings of each committee. Okay. Wait a second.
Yep.
The question is 2/3 of the meetings during the past 12 months, 2/3 of the meetings during the person's term on the board. I've been there for 44 years, so you'd have to go back and count 2/3 of 600 meetings or whatever, or 2/3 of the present year. I mean, I think you want to make that exactly what you wanted to make, and I think what you want to make it is during 2/3 of the past year. Correct?
Of the past 12 months or the
Yes.
previous year?
Which is it?
Past 12 months seems more than fine for me. I
Okay,
don't
but then
see much otherwise.
I would agree. But you
Nobody's
guys,
going to make it to 44 years anymore. There are term limits now.
I know, but still,
Unless
there are
that
people
changes
who.
again, Sheila. Well, what was done can be undone.
That's true too.
So, okay, yep,
Now on 2D,
yeah.
I would like to change that. It says shall not simultaneously serve as committee chair or vice chair. We're making a absolute rule as compared to a preference. Okay. In other words, shall not, if you want to have it in there that that you discourage it, that's fine. I said at the last meeting that what happens if we don't have enough people and the person is doing it, or supposing that the person was really good as chair or vice chair, why take them out if they're willing to do it? If the chairperson of the board has the ability to make or break any committee or committee chair or vice chair, why not leave it up to him the way it is now?
Sheila?
I could see that for vice chair. I do think it's important that the chairs of the committees not also serve on the executive committee. And remember, these are bylaws. This is not, no one's going to jail if the chair is like, I can't get anybody to do this, and there's something, they explanatory in the office that, they had to not abide by this particular thing. But I definitely think it's aspirational to diversify the power.
And it's all, I know this is a norm that you've upheld. Do we think it should be added in writing? I'm of Steve's opinion that it's a norm that should be encouraged.
So you prefer
Sorry,
whenever possible.
Sorry, to recap, it's like discouraging versus making a hard and fast rule.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like we've been lucky recently that that we've had enough uh, folks who are willing to be chair, across the board. But that won't always be the case, right? So I like language that says discouraging or yeah, something along those lines. Besides shutting you out entirely.
I don't know of any chair who did serve as a chair of a committee also. I know I stepped down when I became chair.
Joe
Uh,
Conley.
Joe
so
did?
Joe
What
is absolutely. He was chair of transportation, and then Denise was chair of transportation as well when she became chair initially.
Okay.
And then Lisa was land use and chair.
Yep.
But she stepped, she, I think dropped.
Eventually she did, but
Yeah,
she
okay.
did.
Yeah, I did immediately. Okay.
Shouldn't it be more that like whenever possible the chair shall appoint, or like because the chair is making the appointments?
I
So
also
it's not, it's up to the chair, so it's not the officers who are encouraged or discouraged.
Did not simultaneously have
Formed officers as chairs. Committee chairs, so on.
Okay. Do we think
Fine.
One other note, though, that will go in a different place then, because I think this is well, look to see, because if this is the specific to the, I can't see the whole, actually I can if I just go to a different screen.
and
Anyway,
also, I don't
you'll
wanna
look at it later.
avoid the
Why
jumping
don't-
around,
so
if
why
it's
don't
for a
we-
different section, then then we can save it for that
What
section.
if
Right.
what if we keep it here, but just say to the extent practicable?
To the extent practicable.
That's like the classic statutory language for this is generally a good idea, but life happens, so sometimes there are exceptions.
That's why it says encouraged.
I think it's just encouraged. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
Okay.
then we have
but
to
Kosher?
as
put it.
long as we're talking about sections, if you look at 2E,
Yep.
shall announce their intention to seek office of November meeting. Well, I don't know why it's in that section of the bylaws. That seems superfluous at that point. Has nothing to do with it.
It does seem superfluous, and we have a whole section on in the November meeting
Right.
how nominees are announced. So
Okay.
I'm fine cutting it, barring. All right, everyone seems of accord. Okay.
And then go to Article 9.
Uh-huh. The nominations and elections.
I don't do yeah, yes.
Yes. Uh-huh. Here we are.
Besides spacing to make sure that it starts and finishes on, doesn't stop in the middle. There was something there
Yes,
before.
yes. We will remove this. We will clean this up. Yep.
Doesn't that say
Okay.
Article 8?
It does.
That says 8. Go to 9.
Okay.
Well, we're just in the process of cleaning up the articles, so they're
Yeah. We cut out an
Okay.
article, so that's why I said nominations and election of officers.
Go to
Got
Article 9.
No, this is the Article 9 that you are referring to.
Ah, okay, fine. Then in number 2,
Yes.
you have district manager shall, just don't move so quick.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Each member's vote shall be subject to discovery through freedom of information. The election outcome will be in the published minutes of the meeting. I had down there that said the outcome would be announced at the meeting and the results published in the minutes. You seem to have made those changes. Did you?
Somebody put something similar, but well, hold on. Let me just put it in.
Because it should be at the meeting. There's no reason for us not to know who won. Otherwise, we don't know if there's a runoff or anything.
Yeah. So the
We
election
don't have
outcome
runoffs
will
anymore,
be-
right?
Oh my goodness. Will be announced
We have runaways.
in the meeting and published in the minutes. Published in the minutes of the meeting. Does this language seem satisfactory?
Yeah, it's appropriate.
Can we change Freedom of Information Act to the name of New York's law?
What is
Right.
New York's law?
It's FOIL. It's Freedom of Information
Law.
not act.
Okay, no problem.
I mean, we had a discussion about this last time.
Yeah.
I think I'm not personally. I prefer what's already in our bylaws, but I don't think my preference is strong enough to want to spend a considerable amount of time on it. So if the rest of the board or the people here would rather we not make it public, like our votes are public. The question is whether we put them in the minutes or we require people to file public information requests to get them. I would prefer we not require public information requests because I think it creates asymmetry where some people have access and other people don't. But I'm not so opinionated on this to want to like make a big deal out of it if people generally would prefer that we change the process to be like this. Does that make sense?
I was happy with the way it was too, but there are reasons that people had of privacy. I mean, I believe that I could go into the office and find out who voted for whom at the last election, and the old bylaws allowed that to happen. These would not allow that to happen. This says I have to go through a process.
The old law.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, I was gonna say what the existing bylaws say is actually that they're published in the minutes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something, Sheila?
I mean, I've said what I felt before is that I do think there is peer pressure at so Richard, kind of people. I have seen reactions to people. So the idea that there could be a written a written ballot, and what we've done to me, at least in the public eye, gives people a little bit of protection. So I kind of preferred the language before. And then Michael's point is really valid. So people don't have to go through a FOIA, but to Stephen's point, you can get the information. Um, yeah, I mean, Letitia, I prefer the written ballots and secret ballots for the officers, but I
They
know they're strong opinions.
Here,
So
though, whatever we put in our bylaws, they are not anonymous. The question is just whether we publish it in the minutes or not. Like they, what subject to discovery means is we do not have our ballots have our names on them, right?
yes, I already said that, like, the way we did it. So I don't know if there was a phrasing that is, not so confrontational, because I think that when you put something like subject to freedom of information, it also feels confrontational, as language, and also not transparent. Which, yeah, if their secret ballots are not totally transparent, but I don't know from the language before if there's a way. Like, we talked about this a lot. We talked about this with Alan Swisher too, and he thought the language we had before was fine for doing the secret ballots. I'm only using that for a shortcut of terms.
Sure.
But and today we're talking about and saying no, it doesn't seem like the language that was there was adequate for that. But we did pass it by Alan Swisher, and he said it was.
But what is currently in our bylaws says we will publish the results in the minutes.
Yeah, we were published the results, which we did. 40 people voted for this. 10 people voted
Now we're proposing to change that. No, we were publishing the results of what each people voted on. That's what's in our bylaws right now.
Okay, well,
It
whatever
was
was there,
confusing. It could have been interpreted two ways, yes.
it could have been interpreted two ways, and we were told by the, VP's, legal person that it was fine the way it was for what we were doing. Um,
Okay, but the language we have right now,
I didn't want to change it, but other people wanted to change it because of the confusion, which I understand. So but it's, again, some people just want it to be completely public, and I'm of the school, no. But if the language before did not support that, is there some way, where do we meet? Like, where does everybody feel on this? Do we go back to, are we doing it as a fully public or secret ballot, or are we having that discussion, or are we having a discussion about it being able to be, a what is it? I'm trying not to use the word secret ballot because I don't like it. There's a term, or are we talking about how to do that and not, and make sure the wording supports that? Like, I'm not sure which thing we're talking about right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the only thing that I can see that could change so it doesn't look that way is take out the one sentence that said each member's vote will be subject to discovery through the Freedom of Information Law. If we take that out, then there's a question as to who gets to it. It's not answered in there anymore, which I kind of like. I mean, it seems to me that members, I mean, if I lost an election and I demanded to see the results of it, why should I be denied? I'd be a recount. I mean, I don't know.
the results being the tally, not how each person voted.
Yeah, except we don't know the tally without seeing the actual ballots.
Well, and then I mean, we can, think of a system to, have
An independent person come and check to see the ballots, but not tell me what is on there. Yeah, I guess that would be okay. But how's that going to get picked?
yeah.
We're trying to keep it simple if we can, and those who want to have that privacy, I understand that. But again, it does look a little bit strange for us to say the Freedom of Information Law.
Fair.
It's starting a court action, basically.
I'm agreeing with you on that part.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, Sean. That's what I'm saying.
So should we remove this sentence?
And
Does
let other
anyone
people argue about
really,
it in the future.
does anyone really want to keep this sentence then?
Well, I think it's true whether or not we keep it.
You think what's true?
The public record stuff.
Is subject to discovery. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, our bylaws do not control whether state law applies.
Correct.
Okay.
Can you repeat that?
Our bylaws do not govern whether or not state open meeting law applies to our votes.
But it does, right? Or it doesn't?
Yeah, it does.
So then by open meeting law, don't we have to have don't we have to publish in the minutes
That was part of where we went round and round and round.
Yeah.
It's the
I think
you
I
have to
blocked it.
publish the results, but nothing specifically says that you must publish
their
every
names?
right. You know, it's
So
You can use
question.
ballots that are not
Hmm.
read aloud, but those ballots must still identify each member's vote.
So hypothetically, right? It's the election. The voting just happened. I lost. I want to know who voted against me. Can I just ask for it on the floor? Or do I have to go through a whole process to ask for me to
Current,
see who voted what way?
currently,
Mm-hmm.
currently, you would not be allowed to ask from the floor. I mean, I shouldn't say that. It's not written in law, but the reality is that the way in which I would see it being done would be to go to the office after they've put together the minutes and
Once,
put everything together.
once it's published in the minutes and then
Right.
it's public and available.
Correct.
Yeah, so I actually found some official resources that might be helpful. I'm gonna post it in the chat, but it's uh it's a handbook from the city government to community boards from the Bloomberg days that speaks to this point.
I've seen that. That's old.
Yeah, I don't know that it's been
It's
updated.
probably still relevant.
Although I'm not sure if the rules of this have changed since the Bloomberg days. How to
Yeah, I
have
don't think they have.
you know,
Yeah, so if you I'm sorry, let me find the right so on
God, I remember this.
page 28.
page 28.
Yeah, at the
Something to
bottom.
Control F. Give me.
Okay, Control F, including the election of officers. All
Okay.
community board votes, including, yeah.
Boom. Okay.
There you go.
And by including it in the minutes of the meeting.
Well, but it says by open ballot. I mean, it just says it right
Same
there.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Means it's available.
Yep.
Is there any reason not to just copy paste this? Well, I guess not copy paste, but
Why
Yeah.
not? Why reinvent the wheel?
this. Hold on. I'm gonna take this. If there's anything else we want to add?
I also just dropped in a document. It's a little old. It's from February 2009 from the State Department of Open Government, listing some of the rules. And it sounds like I don't know if I'm not a lawyer, so I'll look at to the lawyer to my front, lawyer Cooper. Steve, I don't know if you see the link in the chat, but maybe this says you don't have to name them; they just have to be accessible.
Well, that's the way we have done it. But what the city thing says, we actually have to publish it in the minutes. I guess that's why our minutes. That's why we have done it that way.
Yeah, actually, I'm rereading this, and I think it's all kind of covered for what's in here. Anyway, may be conducted by signed ballots or roll call, or by do it however you like. Just make it public and post it in the meetings.
Yeah. That's why it was the way it was.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not sure we've brought the clarity that we're looking for here. And I do think this is like a big scary sentence that can be removed.
I agree because I think it's true regardless. I do think I mean, um, I do think the Corporation Council guidance did say that the votes need to be in the minutes, no? Yeah.
Yeah, and they will be. Yeah, and the election
The
will be
tally is
posted in the
what,
minutes.
well, a different corporation council, yeah, the city corporation council, yes.
Yeah. Issued in 1977. What?
Okay, I
Oh no,
think
maybe it's one.
move
Sorry.
on from this point unless I hear some rounding
Sorry,
resolution.
I'm still a little confused by what we think our position is. Like, do we think that the individual votes need to be put in the minutes or no?
Well, this state law says there's nothing in the Freedom of Information or open meetings laws that specifies that a vote must be accomplished by means of a roll call or that a vote be announced when it is cast. In my view, so long as a record is prepared that indicates the manner in which each member cast his vote, an entity would be acting in compliance with the open vote requirements imposed by these statutes. I note that the decision cited above referred to open voting in the context of both open and executive sessions, since the open meeting laws permits public bodies to vote in proper circumstances. Although the votes by members ordinarily is included in the minutes, there is no requirement that it be included in the minutes. While such a record must be prepared and made available, the Court of Appeals, the state's highest court, has held such a record may be maintained separate from the minutes. And but again, this is from 2009. I don't know if
Yeah,
this,
this thing's from 2014
Yeah.
and it's the city council. I mean, it's the city's corporate council stating the board must record each member's vote and make the record available to the public by including it in the minutes of the meeting. I mean, it's pretty,
that's pretty clear.
and it says open ballot. I mean,
Unless there's something that more recent, but
Well,
yeah,
I think we definitely have to change the word secret ballot to written ballot.
yeah.
yeah. Can we just call it silent ballot?
I
No,
like silent
make
better.
it written ballot.
Let's.
Do we
I
want
would
to
say,
pass that by Alan?
I mean, I
If
think,
he sees the Bloomberg thing, he may advise differently. That, that's
I mean, it's open ballot is the phrase in this handbook doc.
right.
Yeah, and it
right,
says
but it's the handbook was created by the Bloomberg administration as a guide based on the law. It is not the law itself.
I mean, it's the corporate council of the city of New York,
I know,
right?
but the corporate council doesn't have the ability to issue laws.
No, he just interprets them.
Exactly.
Right. And that's his interpretation. I think it's correct.
Right, but it's an interpretation still.
Yeah, no,
I'm just
without
pointing it
question.
out.
Without question.
Sheila, are you saying you want to run it by Alan?
Yeah, I mean, I've voiced my opinion, but if the majority says it should all be open ballots, then it's what the majority says. But I think that to be clear, so we're not saying that we have to do it, but it's a decision, then I think it is worth passing it by Alan. Because that is an interpretation
There's
of
no
law.
reason not to pass it by Alan.
Exactly.
Right.
okay.
Can we move on?
I'm
Let's.
happy to move on.
Whenever you're ready. Article 10,
Article 10,
1C.
1C.
Chairperson attends any meetings required. Is that 1C? Yeah. From the mayor and borough president. No. Oh, you changed the number. So it's now Article 9. You changed the numbering, right?
Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, the duties of officers.
First sentence only. It's not where I'm looking.
Oh, okay. Which article are you looking at?
I had art. Well, let's see if I can pick it up on the computer here. Hold on.
What is the title of the section you're looking at?
That I didn't put down. I do. I got the bylaws here. No. Yes, I do. Okay. Hold on.
Sure.
This is the first time I've ever used two screens at the same time. So.
All good.
Article 9. Come on, come on. Still in part 3, Article 9. Come on, 21. Almost there.
Sure.
Article 9, nomination and elections of officers. You changed the numbering on me.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, nomination and election of officers. That's where we were.
Okay.
3C.
My note says 1C. Oh, Article 10. No, I'm sorry. Article 10, duties of officer,
Duties of
1C.
officers, 1C. Yep.
Okay. All right. It doesn't match to my paper. Forget it. I don't know what
Okay.
it was. So go to Article 11. There at least I know I'm confident I have the right stuff.
All right. Bang bang. Removal.
Article, yeah. 1A, we're requiring 2/3 to even consider it, to consider removal.
Yep.
Okay. That's usually what you need for conviction, but we're considering, is that what you guys want, or is that what the old way it was?
I believe that's the old way it was. I don't think there's been too much activity in this section.
Okay. Then it says 2/3 majority of the entire appointed membership of the board.
Yes.
So that means of the 50 or 52, whatever we have. So if we only have 40 people at a meeting, we can't vote on it unless all 40 agree, basically.
Yeah, the bar is raised. Yeah.
Yeah, but do we really want the entire appointed membership rather than a quorum to bring it to the attention that something's happening?
I mean I know it can go either way, but like I think the way we were reading this is that I mean this doesn't say they can't vote electronically, right?
No. They're voting electronically. Be fine. Steve's just saying if 10 people are not in the meeting.
Right, but then oh, that's right. They can't do proxy voting because we don't allow that.
No
But
proxy
that's
voting.
not.
Yeah.
But proxy voting, it's if they're absentee voting. Do we have no absentee voting too? I can't remember.
No
No.
absentee voting.
Okay.
More importantly, it's not something. It seems to be step one in a process. If it was step two, there are ways we could handle it, but it's step one.
It's a good
So I
point.
found
Yeah.
out, I found out that Anatole was doing something wrong, something
What did
terrible.
he do?
I'm not telling you guys, but if I find that out and I bring it up, and I at this point would need 2/3 of the meeting to get people appointed to investigate my charges. Okay, but this says that I need 2/3 of the entire membership, not 2/3 of the meeting. I don't know how many people we have, but let's assume we have 48 community board members. It means I need 36 to vote for it just to get the people appointed to investigate it. And if you have a normal number of absences, 5 or 6 absences, it means it would have to be unanimous practically just to get an investigation opened. That's what I'm saying. It seems a little bit high.
What's your suggestion, Stephen?
2/3 of the quorum.
I'm okay with it.
In order for anything to really happen, the next step is that they designate a committee to investigate it. Then it comes back to the board where you then have 3/4 of the entire appointed membership. But here we have notice. We tell the membership it's going to be considered at that meeting.
So, Stephen, the only thing you're looking to adjust is lowering the bar on
Yeah.
step one,
Correct.
and only step one.
I think that will solve the problem. Yes. On the other step, I mean,
Yep.
I could see it as being important enough to have a special thing.
Okay, so removing this language and saying a majority of the quorum.
Right.
I can be on board with that. Sheila, you seem on board with that. Is anybody not quite on board with that?
I think that's fine.
Cool beans. What's next, Stephen?
You ready?
Ready. Well, where am I going?
Next place I can go is Article 27. And my
Article
comment is really.
27. Jesus Christmas. Hold on. Article 27, right?
Right. Article 27, number 2.
27, number 2. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yes. Yes. Really? And I will tell Anatole that we need to be enforcing this.
Agreed.
Is this the one about chair voting?
No.
No,
What?
no. Just being on camera and unmuted.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
Yeah, that okay.
I
What
wasn't.
else is next, Steve?
Okay. Let me just check one thing before we just move on to the next section.
Sure.
I thought you couldn't vote if you're remote. You can now vote.
You can
Yes.
vote, but only if there's a quorum physically present.
Yes,
Only if there's a quorum present.
There needs to be a quorum physically present. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Randy emailed us that he can't get into the meeting. Can you see him in the waiting room?
What? No, I don't see him in the waiting room.
Then I don't know what to tell him.
Can you send him, resend him the link?
Send him the link you used to get in.
I think I know why, because in a previous email is a different link. I was using that too.
Yeah, I tried to.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Okay, article. The next thing had to do with you asked me to look at where is
I
it?
just sent the link in the chat if you need it.
Thank you, Maury.
I think that's the right one. It's the one on the calendar.
Yeah, I just sent him the calendar one.
Article 21, quorum and voting.
21.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. And this had a
Let's see,
whole bunch
number
of chat.
one.
What are your thoughts here?
Oh, let me try to push this aside so I can look at yours. Okay. Oh, yeah. The 50 plus 1 is a very, very bad idea. You want a majority, which is not 50 plus 1. It's more than half. If you had 49 members present, what is the required number? 25 or 26?
Stephen, I think
Majority would be 25 plus 1 is 26.
I think it says 50% plus 1. Am I not understanding you, or?
Well, how do you get 50% of 49? So you need 50 and a half now? I mean, 25 and a half?
Yeah, so you need 26?
But you don't. If you have 49 people, you just need a majority.
I think you need 25, right?
Right.
Don't you mean if there's 48, do we need 24 or 25? But I think there it's clear we need 25.
If it's 48, you need 25 because that's half plus 1.
And then
If
49.
you got 49, you got confusion. Is it 25 or 26?
No,
If you
it's
take out
49
that,
divided by 2.
just leave it as majority. It's been used for 1,000 years. Everyone knows a majority is more than half.
I think it's fine to say a majority of the wait,
Okay, so shall consist of
a
a
majority.
majority of the appointed members. Is that what you are saying?
Can we just say members? What does
It doesn't say appointed members, members.
Of the members. Okay.
Except
No, wait. I'm sorry. Appointed members.
Appointed, yes.
you know where I was going.
Why? What's the distinction?
Public members.
Members is a protected.
Chaos ensue.
We define. Should we say voting members?
I think appointed.
Public
puts
or
the
voting members,
officialness.
but not of the board, just the committee, right?
Right.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
because if you say appointed members, public members are technically appointed too.
But public members are appointed to the committees by the chair.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm fine with voting members. It's because electeds are technically de facto, ex officio members, but they can't vote.
You can't leave voting members there either.
Why not?
Because
Why?
well, a voting member is someone who's voting. So we're saying that first you have a vote, then you have a quorum. I mean, members was better.
Then it
majority
should say appointed.
of
Or
the appointed.
full, whatever you want, but
Of the full
it's got to
board.
be in there.
Appointed.
That's
Appointed is fine.
Appointed of the full board, right? That's what we want to make sure that we're not including public members.
Except this says regular and special meetings, and so I'm thinking special meetings might also include like task forces and stuff like that, which may
Oh,
have.
okay.
So at those
Ah.
special meetings, they may be able to vote, but they would not be able to vote at a full meeting,
they by definition, public members can only vote on committees. And
Correct.
committee quorum is defined in three. I don't really care enough to at this hour to litigate on this one, but I think or appointed members, whatever we say, should probably be
Leave
fine.
it appointed members. Number 3, the same correction.
At committee meetings. Let me just make sure.
For what it's worth, we were one of only 4 boards known to require 2/3 of the full appointed membership for getting rid of an officer. So we're more in line now with the rest of the boards.
Yeah, to remove a person from the board is a simple majority, but for us to remove the chair or an executive is 2/3. Kind of different.
But now we're 2/3 of the quorum, not 2/3 of the.
Yeah.
Now on number 4, you have you remember before when I said really that thing? This does not say anything about being seen, just says heard and participate. And unless we're changing the rules, even if you're remote, you have to be on the camera.
So leaving presence for purposes of general quorum voting, provided that they can hear, be heard,
Be seen.
Can be seen, right?
Yes.
To be a little obnoxious here, like this seems to suggest if you're deaf, you can't be counted.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure that was not the intent, but
Well, now if you're vision impaired, you're in
well, no, I think as long as people can see you.
So provided that they
are visible.
It's
no.
be seen. That's sufficient.
Well, no, it's a good point. Like, but that maybe we don't need to. Maybe we find language that supports
I want to say something to the
less ableist.
Provide that they can
they have to set their equipment so that they're
fully participating according to open meetings laws.
That they are, yeah.
I think there's just one, so probably just
okay.
We can make up another one.
The purposes of quorum.
You really want to make people have to go to look at a law book to find out what that is to be at a meeting each time?
Nope.
What if we say attendees must be able to fully participate and engage in the meeting with accessible audio visual means?
That's good.
All right, I used AI for that.
Yeah, I don't accessible audio. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean
that means they don't have to turn it on, but they have to have it.
They engage in the meeting through accessible meaning like it's accessible to the others.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe that's not good. See, AI is not good.
Yeah, bad AI.
Okay, we have a problem with.
Why don't we just leave it?
Okay.
Can be seen and heard. The way you had it. That's what people will understand.
I wonder if just provided they are visible, like what's the harm?
Because what if they put in like a still picture of themselves?
That's what happened. That's one of the reasons we had this rule. Our city council person was never moving at any meeting. It was just her picture.
This is like that. This is like art. This is not a pipe. Like that's an image of a person, not a person.
Right. So that's why what you had was fine. The only change
Actually,
that we needed.
I like what Patrick just did. He put in parentheses, i.e. camera on, unmuted.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Fine.
What
And
else
then in
we
four
got?
years we can revise it if there's new technology.
Yes.
You may want to work at that even, Patrick, further because that's suggesting what if person doesn't have a camera, then they're okay too. All right. Article 22, 4D.
Yep.
What's a teller?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I was going to say, um, I would say it's probably changed to
They
be.
should be counted by either what we've done in the past is our office staff has been counting them,
Mm-hmm.
or other person designated by the chair. But it's usually the office staff. It's the easiest way of doing it.
Yeah.
I just want to bring up though, it seems like the majority of people here, and correct me if I'm wrong, are in support of just fully open voting. If that's the case, then a lot of this other stuff isn't, we don't need to have it in here. So like,
It's
Um,
I I don't care if anybody knows how I vote, but there are people on the board who are probably a little bit more nervous than I am about these things. And although the law says that it's open, we don't have to, throw it at them.
I mean, I just don't want us to be. I just want us to be compliant. I don't really have a strong
Right.
point. Um, but I don't know. Sorry, forgive me. I'm losing focus here. What specifically is at issue here?
The Sheila was just bring up the fact since we've made it obvious and we've all looked it up that our votes are open to the public. Why are we being so secret about everything?
I do think they should be ballot. Like I do think when we vote for officers, they should be ballot votes. I don't
They
think.
are. It
Yeah,
says written ballots.
yeah.
Get
So
that.
I do
Right.
think differentiating, like some things are unanimous, some things are ballot. Like that makes sense.
Okay. Article 5.
Yep.
I ballots individual votes taken by roll call or otherwise mandated shall be recorded individually in the minutes. That seems fine. I don't know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
7B.
7B. Let me just get rid of that. 7B. Yep.
What does that mean? What's requested division? I don't know what that
Yeah.
means.
Yeah. I think that's just a requesting a actual like roll call
And
for
put it
the
in.
account. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Then let's say that because I had no idea what it meant.
Yep.
Great.
Number 9. Uh, number. I have down votes count as a quorum. That doesn't make sense. Okay. 10. What is your purpose on 10? Because what it says there is that motions require 2/3 votes, including the close. What does that refer to?
I
Is
had
that
put it just in
Oh, okay. I
general.
see. It says a motion requires 2/3 of votes include, and then it says the kinds of motion. The
Yeah.
first one is to close. Now, we've never had that. We've always, when we call the question, it's by majority. But more important to me, if I make a motion to table, Robert's rule says that a majority is sufficient to close it. So you've got a problem with the word close there.
All right. Oh, we can remove it in that case.
Yeah, I think if you remove it, you might be okay.
And then amend the bylaws is separately referenced as a simple majority in this
Yeah.
document.
Right. Okay, that's all the changes, all the spots problems I saw.
Okay. Um. Okay. Then let's go. I think we have rank choice. we have ranked choice, some treasure language, and let me see. Oh, yeah. Does anybody think that ranked choice voting? I know Randy was skeptical about it. I really don't see an issue with it.
I agree with you. I think we're capable of it.
Does anybody not agree with me?
If we ever need it, that'd be nice if we had 3 or 4 people running for against each other for something. But the only question I have on that is whether we need to define ranked order, ranked preference voting, or whether we can just refer to city law.
I think that's just the lawyer in you.
Yeah, I feel comfortable with the current language on this.
Okay, I have no problem with it.
Okay. Have we heard from Randy since we sent him that link? Or
Oh, he did email me back. Oh, no, he didn't email me back. I haven't
okay.
heard from him since I replied with try.
Great. Treasure language. Oh, I think, yeah, also waiting on Randy here. I mean, Michael, I think your language here, as far as like the C and E budget committee, is ample. I just didn't want to like start approving things without running it through the larger group.
Yeah.
Does
You know,
anybody
that's funny.
disagree with this assessment?
Well, forgive me for this, but one thing that came to mind as we were talking about earlier is there was this whole exec board committee chair discussion we just had, and this does explicitly say this member of the executive board should be the chair of this committee, but I think it's okay in this case.
Okay, we'll keep it just to underscore the fact. Okay.
I guess to clean it up, you should probably go back and say and eliminate the budget committee from that sentence. Although actually, no, we changed it so it's up to the chair again, didn't we?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
encouraged, but then it's required here. So
Okay.
this is fine. This is good to know, but at this stage in the night, we can resolve.
Fair. Fair. Oh, I like this. What if the board
Yeah,
disagrees?
the current language implies the board will just necessarily go along with what the exec committee did. So I thought maybe voted sounds a little more like,
A little more open-ended in case the chair and executive committee do something in an emergency that the rest of the board feels so strongly against.
yeah, it just doesn't seem like the bio because ratified truly means like,
Thumbs up. Yes, yes, yes. But if it's
yeah.
voted on, then they can project it and
So that's such.
okay. Does anybody a thumbs up or thumbs down feel strongly? Sheila, that's neither thumbs up or thumbs down, but all right. Great. Like I said at the beginning, Eric, Tisha, Michael, very satisfying
I
to
will just say to Michael, though, I thought it was a really, really good point, and I appreciated it. So thank you.
okay. Oh, fair. Oh, you know what? I really want Anatole to weigh in on this. I will hunt him down tomorrow. I really just think reviewing this every 4 years is fine. Not changing it, more or less. All right, I'll just tell him we're
I
fine.
think he said that was fine too.
I think he did. I think he did as well. Actually, now that night is starting to hit me. Treasure language, executive committee attendance, emergency votes, minority report. Oh, um, posting of minutes, and the voting. Well, I guess we'll look at this. I think this was largely kind of resolved with the open meetings law that Anatole mentioned. Um, I was looking for Randy since he chimed in on this, but I I think this language that we have here is fine.
Yeah, it works for me.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Um, Voting. Yep, this voting language seems fine. Um, do, do, do. Votes taken by roll. Yep, that seems fine. So thank you for that additional stuff, Letitia. Yes.
Well, there's this stuff around the chair doesn't vote, which I don't know that we've ever practiced, so I thought we should just not.
Yeah, I think we can kind of remove if Anatole, wants to start enforcing that, then that's
I actually, to me,
oh,
that is something to consider. I was curious to look at, I realized we didn't do it, but I feel like that was something we reviewed from a lot of other bylaws, a lot of other practice as well. They would be a tiebreaker in the case of a tie,
Correct.
which makes
yeah,
more sense to me.
That's Robert's rules.
yeah.
Yeah, so we're just not abiding by it, but we need to be abiding by it.
How are we not abiding by it?
Anatole
The
votes.
chair, the
Does
chair.
he?
Yeah. But I mean, I don't quite get it in the sense of like I think the chair's opinion and vote matters.
He gets his opinion out there, but I think that I agree with Robert's rules. The chair doesn't vote unless it's a tiebreaker.
I mean, the point of that is it says to maintain impartiality, which I think would be inconsistent with the chair as sort of a person who speaks at meetings and tries to persuade people and so on.
Well, you see, but the chair is allowed to do that according to Robert's rules.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
They
So
can be partial and I mean, I just think it doesn't really mean anything. Like I think this is a
But it's Robert's rules, and we say we're abiding by them in all different other places here. So,
yeah, except where we say that we don't abide with them or where it contradicts the charter, which it does in several
Right.
cases.
this does not contradict the charter,
Right.
though.
I mean, the chair can choose to abstain, but
I, I actually think we should.
The chair shouldn't vote,
the
I
chair
agree.
shouldn't vote. Yeah.
except to make or break a tie.
Okay.
And if Anatole is doing it, we should mention it to him so he knows.
Yep.
None of us noticed.
The only time
not that
that
we
I
didn't.
found, the only time as a chair that I could see voting is an example when land use comes up to make a presentation. The chair of land use is chairing that portion of the meeting. So therefore, the chairman of the entire board, there is no reason why he can't vote. Instead, the land use chairman should not vote. You know?
why are you rewriting this? Just reject. I mean, if we're gonna go with this language, just reject my suggestion to delete.
All right. Thank you.
That's the easy way.
Wouldn't you add is not a full voting member?
No, they are. They
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
certainly
but
are.
they generally do not vote.
See,
Yeah.
I abided by that when I was chair, and I didn't vote. I think that the one time we had a tied vote, I chose not to break the tie.
I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah, but I remember reading later that the chair is allowed to vote.
As a
So-
tiebreaker.
As a
No,
tiebreaker.
as like a regular voting member, as long as they're a voting member of the board. Because like I think Robert's rules, and I could be wrong. Correct me, our two parliamentarians, if I'm wrong here. But I thought Robert's rules is more if the chair is not can't vote if they're not a voting member, because some chairs of some boards are they just serve as the chair to organize the meeting and.
It's an interesting thought, but I never heard that before.
Yeah, my understanding is that because I just brushed up on it this week, that the chair does not vote generally. The chair is just in charge of making sure the meetings flow.
I don't know. I feel like
I'm good to leave it the way it is
I feel like the charter lets them vote.
because it says normally.
Well,
So
they-
leave it.
They're definitely allowed to vote. That's not the question. The question is whether we bind them to stop them from voting.
Or
You know.
strongly encourage them
Yeah, exactly.
exercise lightly.
Right. I'm trying to think if motion, and I'm not my full self right now. Motions that require 2/3 votes to remove an officer if that contradicts our removal of officers section where we say
Yes,
three.
because it says 3/4 to remove.
Yeah, so let's delete that then.
Sounds good.
There's are you Michael? I think there's something in that um, the guide to parliamentary procedure for community boards from Bloomberg's administration. I think they address it.
The chair piece?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think.
cool.
Okay. And what's this? Michael, what do we want to where do we want to reconcile this? I'm sorry I missed this note the
Oh
other day.
no, I think it's just that we discussed this exact point at number 2 of this section. But maybe, I mean, at this point,
Remote attendees must be on camera and unmuted at the time to cast their votes. Electronic
I think this is different because this has to do with tools that are used for voting.
yeah. Um,
okay. I mean,
so
it's
it's like if I'm voting remotely in the December meeting, I can email the office my vote.
really,
Yeah.
that doesn't seem right to me because if you're unmuted and on camera, you can send the email. I mean,
I was thinking more like a Zoom poll. Like, I don't know, what if we go through another COVID and we have to do voting and, and you have to do the polls or a Google form or whatever. That's what I was thinking about when I wrote tools.
okay, I'm fine. I mean, I don't think it's there may be a reason to keep this. I don't feel very strongly about it, so let's.
Okay. Um, district manager. Yeah, let's see. I mean, I think this is a lot of extra stuff that is not necessarily needed for like defining the role of district manager. I think kind of what we had by and large is um pretty encompassing. Um and I'm not entirely sure if this is the group to write, the job description of the district manager.
We should probably ask Deborah for her input on that.
Well, I mean, we have the personnel committee, and I think we assigned a lot of this to the personnel committee in that section, didn't we? Did we? If I'm remembering correctly.
The personnel committee does not.
Well, they helped design like the evaluation process,
Oh
and they.
yes, yeah. The personnel committee is empowered for that. Yeah, and that language is here. It's not. The personnel committee is not mentioned here in this section. That's what I'm saying.
Michael, I just saw that just this exact second.
Yeah.
I pasted in. I was like, oops, somebody already saw it.
I actually thought you had seen this, and that's why you told me to look there.
No, I saw a summary of it and I was looking for it and I didn't see it. So I was like hoping you could find it faster and you did. Should we address it?
I mean, this I think strengthens the point of just not including this.
Yeah.
What are you guys referring to? I'm sorry.
On the chairperson voting matter, apparently the corporate council from 2014 explicitly prohibited the kind of provision that we just.
Oh, okay, I see that language in the chat. Okay, I will go ahead and add that and make that explicitly clear.
We didn't exclude it though.
Well, we
We
say
said,
normally, except I mean, it sounds like we are trying to exclude it, right?
I mean, I think it's good practice, but like I'm not chair. I'm not looking to be chair either, so.
Okay, how about this section before us? I think a lot of this language as is fine. Does anyone feel strongly otherwise?
I would agree that this isn't the place for the job description stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I was pointing to the personnel committee because I thought that was with the executive committee was part of the role there.
Yep. Okay.
I think it was Roz's comment, and I hope this isn't controversial. For the district manager shall be present oh, okay. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. There's already a sentence about an alternative if the district manager is unavailable. So no issues.
Bingo. Then perform other such duties. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't want to go through the laundry list, and I think just keeping it like this, it perform such duties as assigned by the chairperson in consultation with the personnel committee, is thorough and all-encompassing, and avoids like that's not my job. Breaking news. If the chair and the personnel committee do, then there you go.
Yeah, I do think it's another occasion where this conversation makes me think, although these things may not belong in the bylaws, they should probably exist.
There
Yeah.
was a paragraph someplace about the all letters from the board come signed by the chairperson of the board or the chairperson of the committees.
Oh,
Is that in this section on district manager?
that is not in this section. And actually, what I'll get there, but Michael and I were chatting before. Does anybody think that we should be so prescriptive, was Michael's word, with recording of the minutes? I do not think so. I'm kind of down for slimming this section down.
I agree with you.
I just didn't want to be too draconian with the axe for so much text.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
Okay,
I totally
great.
agree, 100%.
Yeah, I didn't even, yeah, I think I
Don't
put
worry
agree.
about it, guys. It's
In my
already
comment, I added agree.
okay. Cool. It's fine. No, but that section that you are referring to, and I gotta tell you guys, I don't want to be. That's the last damn thing to talk about. So, Stephen, I didn't really see an issue with this section, with this
I
piece.
don't think he saw it with the well, we had any relevant chairperson of a committee, but I thought designee. That's part of where, because I do think Stephen's right that there's just a ton of letters that go out from the office too. And, to not have the district manager be able to sign any letters to me is a lot.
I'm comfortable with saying or designee. Like if the chair says somebody else,
Which may be the district manager.
yeah, including the district manager, I think it's fine to just say or designee.
Signed by the chairperson, chairperson of any relevant committee and or
Their
designate.
designate.
Their designate. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, I could live with that because there's just too much otherwise.
Okay.
Because then that gives the personnel committee as far as district manager, as far as what their official duties and what things they can sign, can't sign, blah, blah, blah.
Anyone have serious questions or quarrels with this language?
Can we do it in Greek?
Nope. I can
Did you say,
happily
can we do it in Greece? I would do it in Greece. Can we
Yeah,
go?
well, that's better, but I just meant he said with the language, so I just picked a different language.
I know what you said.
Okay. I will go ahead. Oh, sweet Jesus. We cut it down to 18 pages. I'll go ahead and trim up this minority report. Was that
Can
it?
just clean up the article, like the article numbers? I think we kind of are midway through.
Mike, I will go ahead and do that. Yes, I understand and I hear you.
Oh, I'm all good. And then on the like, what is the rules or what are the rules around the publishing votes on officers in the minutes? I emailed Swisher and CC'd you on the thread along with Anatole and BCC'd Sheila and some others. So I will hopefully we'll get an answer from Alan.
Okay, so minority report, language from Swisher, or clarity from Swisher, and then the articles being properly numbered.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I can go ahead. I guarantee this will all be done. If we don't hear from Swisher by end of day tomorrow, I think we should just proceed. I don't want to wait. And so we get it to the board We'll get it to the office to share to the board ahead of next week's meeting. And that's really my goal for tomorrow.
But per the earlier convo, is it going to be teed up in terms of like there's one vote which is around the minority report stuff, and then everything else is consensus, or how do you want to structure it?
We will take the temperature, and we're just going to say, hi, these are proposed changes. Here's the language. We're gonna vote on it in the March meeting. There's like a 30-day notice.
Oh, that's it for now. We're not
We're
voting
not
on.
voting on it next week.
Right.
Cool.
I
Patrick,
just put,
one
oh, I'm
one
sorry.
thing, sorry. So I
Oh.
see that there was an executive decision here made to, in fact, name parts of Long Island City.
Oh yes, sorry, that was me. I was the executive deciding.
Okay. So this is a deviation from the way the community board is described in like all public places.
Yep.
And of course, it's not comprehensive of like all the different like pockets of all the different neighborhoods listed. So if we proceed in this way, and I said I live in Hunters Point, I said I don't think we should just say Long Island City, but I get sort of reasoning to lift up, for example, Blissville. Then at least we should be consistent and uniform in the ways we're represented externally. We can't have bylaws sort of name them and then everywhere else on the website, it doesn't.
Yes, I hear you, and I think that would be something for the either engagement or technology folks when they're sprucing up and looking to improve the website. That
Yeah, I guess one way to think of it is this the canonical description and everything else should be unified with it? Because this is the first time we've ever talked about how we describe the neighborhoods, at least
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why. I mean, White Square is part of Long Island City. Hunters Point is part of Long Island City.
is Court Square its own neighborhood?
No, it's part of Long Island City.
Yeah,
That's
Hunters Point. Yeah, Blissville as well.
As is
technically.
Blissville. So I
But
don't really know why we're sort of calling them out. We're trying to be, community-like here. It's one neighborhood.
I mean, I would be fine with saying Long Island City, Sunnyside, Woodside, and parts of Maspeth, but
I'm like all or nothing. Because I just think that people feel left out.
So then I think we should go back to the way it is. The nomenclature as it is now.
I was very close to putting in Sunnyside Gardens, not gonna lie. Very close.
What happens if the cities change the lines? We have to rewrite the first paragraph again.
I think that's not our only problem. I think
we can do that. I'm sorry, Nelly. I cut you off. That was rude. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think we maintain it. Otherwise, we need to be exhaustive and comprehensive, and I'm not sure why. Now we're like dicing the neighborhood. We're naming the neighborhoods. It's Long Island City, Sunnyside, Woodside. The only question I had was parts of Maspeth is I've never been clear on that part. Some of our materials say it, some don't. So that's why that's sort of listed in that way. It just mirrors the language that already exists.
Because it literally is parts of Maspeth. Like a lot of the residential parts of Maspeth are CB5. However, a lot of the IBZ that is Maspeth, that's near me, is CB2. Now, we don't really hear about it because not a lot of people live there, not a lot of business engages with CB2, but it is parts of Maspeth. I think Maspeth Park is like right by the Kosciuszko.
Okay. And I maintain my position. It should say Long Island City, Sunnyside, Woodside, and parts of Maspeth.
Without Blissville and Hunters.
Without Blissville and Hunters Point.
Okay.
I'm all or nothing.
Okay. Anybody feel strongly? Anybody else feel strongly one way or another?
I mean, I tend to agree with Nelly about consistency. I do wonder if we want to like literally be all or nothing, there is language on the website that talks about like the boundaries in narrative form. Like I can share the link, but community board 2 is your board if you live within the area bounded by, and then it says like north, east, south, west, what the boundaries
But
are.
by the time someone's already on the community board, that would have been determined by the borough president's office, right? Like we're being like, I think, nitpicky, and for practical reasons, it's not going to matter at the point at which someone is on the board,
Well, I don't,
which the
I guess
bylaws
I
apply
don't,
to.
I don't know what the practical point is here at all. Like, what are we trying to do by naming neighborhoods here? Is it just to?
I'm not sure. Others suggested it wasn't my suggestion.
I see, I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, no, it was my suggestion, and really just to be kind of as all encompassing and recognizing all the different areas that we have in the district. That was all.
Eric has his hand up.
Oh, sorry, Eric.
That's okay. And Patrick, that was exactly the point I was going to make. Let's look at the context of where this is and what the purpose and intent of including the list is. It's a preamble that talks about our commitment to inclusion and community. But I also agree with Sheila about kind of an all or nothing approach. And I also agree with consistency. So maybe we could say, it's um, Western Queens including the neighborhoods of, or something like that. I mean, this is about inclusion, so we're making an effort to name and represent some of the neighborhoods that comprise our community. So it's meant to be affirming and not, I
Right.
mean, that's really the purpose of the statement.
If the
Okay.
purpose of the statement is to be inclusive, then you name the neighborhoods. And I agree we should put Sunnyside Gardens in there too. If I were doing this as a attorney and not worrying about inclusion, I would simply refer to the city of New York as defined by the city of New York and not name the neighborhoods.
I mean, then we should name Queensborough Plaza. Some people sort of think of that as like its own pocket. And then I'm sure within Woodside, there's like other, within the neighborhood, like little, like this is gonna, like, I don't know what purpose we're serving.
What is the
To your
purpose of the
point-
preamble? Yeah.
So to your point, Eric, I mean, I think one solution, one remedy could be we could move down the naming of the neighborhoods back to under Article 1. If you're calling out that then we're not being inclusive, I mean, we're naming neighborhoods at sort of neighborhood level. That's how I think the nomenclature is within community boards. You name the neighborhood that you're a part of. That's how it is in all the sort of places I've seen it. So if we feel like we're somehow being exclusive by not naming all the different pockets within the particular neighborhood, then let's move it down to Article 1 and just sort of name our values in the preamble and leave it at that.
I liked what Steve said, or somebody said about as defined by the city Western.
Well, we have that as Article 1:1.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah. The preamble is really much more informal.
Got it.
Yeah. We can maybe split it out. Like have the first sentence of the preamble be this sort of value laden one, and then say like, there are people call their name, like there are different I mean, we'll have to workshop, but there are different names people use for their specific neighborhoods, but neighborhoods that are commonly like included in our district are Long Island City, Sunnyside, Woodside, parts of Maspeth, and so on. I mean, I do think it's kind of interesting to know the names of the different. Maybe I don't know. I'm beyond
At
the
a
point.
citywide level, I mean, I think often you sort of name, I'm from Queens, then it's from Long Island City. I don't think you sort of say I'm from Port Square, right? That's like an unknown, way to characterize your neighborhood to somebody else, maybe from Staten Island.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I mean, people say Hunters Point and versus Court Square. Have you guys seen the New York Times map?
Yes.
And I see Sheila's got her hand raised.
What do people call this? I think it's pretty fun to look at what people.
Well,
Philip.
I'm 100% agree that it needs to be consistent and like the website and this, but to me, this comes back to Eric's question is the preamble was added to kind of a value statement. And so if it's inclusivity and that's part of our values, I think anything we can do to make people feel more valued is important. So like either we have list them all that we know or you know, or we just keep it simple and just say the values, you know.
No,
I,
no, no.
I'm curious
Micro
because I asked,
neighborhoods. No, no. No.
Okay. Patrick rejected micro neighborhoods.
so you don't want to do building names?
I mean, I hear about Big Six. There's that group that the co-op in Western
It's true.
that
Do
Yeah,
we have part
I
of,
live in their shadow. Yeah.
do we have part of Wynwood Gardens still? Because they used to
Yeah.
be,
I'm
yeah,
reporting to you live from Wynwood Gardens.
there you go.
It's okay. Okay. I'll look at this over a little bit more, Nelly. But otherwise, I think we've got good enough. Is there
I said this in the chat, but gratitude to everybody, really.
Oh, I missed that in the chat. Yeah.
Especially you, Patrick.
yeah, this is a intellectual marathon, and we won. We got.
And Michael, thanks for the map.
Oh, sure. Yeah, this is one of my favorite things.
I remember seeing it now that I look at it a long time ago, a while back ago. But yeah, it says I'm in Sunnyside, but I'm technically Woodside.
Yeah, it's like what people think their neighborhood is versus the official boundaries.
Yeah, and the internet company and the electric company think I'm in Flushing.
That's because that's because the old postal code, the old postal
Yeah,
system.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. I still haven't heard a motion to adjourn. So we could keep chilling.
Let's
No,
quit.
I thought we were just getting into
Motion
it.
to adjourn.
So
All right.
moved.
Well,
Motion to table.
thanks to yeah. Thanks again.
Wait, we
all.
need 2/3, don't we? Oh, no. We only need
Motion
No,
to
we don't for
sit
today.
at the table, eating.
All right, so we're good, right?
Thanks.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone. Good night.